The Alternative Digital. Real issues, real talk.
At first, we hit your gadgets with our state-of-the-art digitalized mobile studio with the debate on the road behind the wheels. Later, we launched our magnificent studios located on Plot 1A, Sawagude Close, Lukulinanganda, Machinde, Kampala, where we bring to you our must-watch shows like The Mighty Drive, Monday to Friday, 8 a.m., Hotline, Mondays, 7 p.m. As for legal matters, Twins at Bar, Tuesdays, 11 a.m. Wednesdays, 6 p.m. is Afro-Caribbean Link, where we connect Africa with the Caribbean. Voltage on Thursdays, 7 p.m., featuring a youthful panel. Interface with Dr. Kiza Besije every Friday, 12 p.m. with his call to action against injustices. Snap Talk, Saturdays, 6 p.m. with the trio. A must-watch, The Political Dice, Sundays, 8 p.m. with the duo that never stammers, and so much more. Watch us live on all our social media platforms. We are The Alternative Digitalk. Real issues, real talk.
The Alternative Digital. Real issues, real talk.
Mwasize mutya nno abatulaba olunaku luno olwaleero ennaku z'omwezi ziri 31 omwezi gwa Ntenvu oba Desemba omwaka 2024 tugumaliriza nno guno omwaka olunaku luno olwaleero we tugenda okuba nga tugumaliriza era njagala okuba nga mbayozaayoza mwenna olunaku olwaleero abalutuuseeko si kya bulijjo nti omwaka osobola okuba nga ogumalako ate ng'ogumazeeko mu maanyi n'engeri gye wagutandika noba ng'ogumazeeko kibeera kya ssanyu nnyo era nga Digital TV nange Edgar Mathew njagala okuba nga mbayozaayoza era ne mbaagaliza omwaka omujja omulungi nnyo ddala happy new year from Digital TV. Ndowooza mwatandise dda okuba nga museetinga kyewaliise goals ez'omwaka guno ogw'obujja ogwa 2025 biki ebyo by'oluubirirwa kibeera ky'amagezi nnyo okubiwandiika wansi nosobola okuba nga obyevaluating oba ne weesomaasomamu oba ne weebalabalamu, that's the right word to use, ne weebalabalamu n'olaba nti wano naasobola okuba nga mpitawo ate n'oteekawo ne key performance indicators nti we nnaaba ntuuse mu kano akadde nina okuba nga ku biruubirirwa byange binaateekawo ng'omwaka gutandika nina okuba nga ntuuse wano. So buli woteekawo key performance indicators zikuyamba okumonitoringa n'olaba gooliyo weeraga. Kibeera kyamaanyi nnyo okubeera nga weevaluatinga naye ate n'ekirala set reasonable goals oba ateekawo goals eziri reasonable zolaba nti nno nyangu z'okuba nga achieving over time kijja kuba nga kikuyambira ddala. Olunaku lupya lwakubiri bagambye ennaku z'omwezi ziri 31 omwezi tuli mu gwa Desemba omwaka 2024 wano ku Digital TV twasalawo okuba nga tubabuulira biki ebyo bigenda mu maaso mu ggwanga ne wabweru w'eggwanga musobole okuba nga mukola okusalawo kulongamiziddwa bulungi. Olunaku olwaleero tugenda kuba tutunuulira omwaka 2024 wa gye tuvudde biki ebibaddewo na biki bye tusobola okuba nga tuyigamu era tugenda kwegattibwako omwami Counsel Kato Tumusiime ono nno munnamateeka era nga atera nnyo okuba nga awolereza abantu ab'enjawulo naddala abo be waligambye abalina human rights abuses oba eddembe lyabwe ery'obuntu nga liyina engeri gye litakabanyiziddwamu oba engeri gye liyonooneddwa mu mbeera eyo. So Counsel Kato ono ng'aviira mu Banturaki Company Advocates gwe tugenda okubeera nga tunyumyamu naye olunaku luno olwaleero ng'atuwa ekifaananyi ky'omwaka 2024 naddala mu nsonga za buli bw'enguzi, ensonga za human rights, eddembe ly'obuntu n'ensonga za politics oba ebyobufuzi engeri gye bitambulamu mu ggwanga lya Uganda. So mu mukuuma agenda kuba nga atwegattako akadde kagenda kubeera kamangu awo. Muzikirize ngendeko mu mawulire agabadde gye mutabadde era we tuba tutandikira emboozi yaffe y'olunaku olwaleero. Police eyongedde mu manhunt oba mu kunoonya omu ku bo omupoliisi munnaabwe eyakuba omuntu amasasi agamu oba essasi eryamujja mu bulamu bw'ensi eno. Ono sabbiiti ewedde ono omupoliisi sabbiiti ewedde wali Nakasero yakuba omwami essasi eryamujja mu bulamu bw'ensi ono ng'amulanga kubanga asigadde mu kkubo oluvannyuma lw'okubanga baali bataddeko akagombo oba siren emusaba abe ng'ava mu kkubo. Omwami ono amanyikiddwa nga Charles Bahati oba afande Charles Bahati owa Counter Terrorism Unit ye yatandikiddwa okuba nga anoonyezebwa era poliisi ng'eyita mu mwogezi waayo omwami Rusoke yavudde n'akakasa nti noono poliisi eri mu kugezaako buli kimu kyesobola okuba ng'emukwata. Egamba omuntu yenna ali eyo ng'osobola okuba nga otuwa ku mawulire g'omwami oyo oba ng'olinawo omulabyeko kigenda kubeera kyamaanyi nnyo singa osobola okuba nga obagulirako poliisi ekuli okumpi. Omwami ono okugambye omusango gw'alina gwakutta muntu oluvannyuma lw'okuba nga yakuba omuntu essasi sabbiiti ewedde wali Nakasero omuntu eyafiirawo there and then. Ono ekyamussa kyali kyakuba nga yasigala mu kkubo oluvannyuma lw'emmotoka omwami ono kwe yali Charles Bahati omupoliisi kwe yali oluvannyuma lw'okugaana okugiviira ng'emusaba right of way yamukuba essasi eryamujja mu bulamu bw'ensi eno. So poliisi ekakasizza batandise dda okuba nga bamunoonyerezaako era we twogerera nga yenna alina ku mawulire ag'omwami ono osabibwa obeere ng'oloopa eri poliisi ekuli okumpi. Nga tuvuddeko awo katugendeko e Luweero mu kkooti y'e Luweero eyo waliyo omukyala we twogerera nga ali mabega wa Mitayimbwa. Omukyala ono ye mukyala eyatta bbaawe sabbiiti ewedde ennaku z'omwezi zaali 26 omwezi ogwa Desemba guno 2024. Omukyala ono yafunamu obutakkaanya ne bbaawe. Omukyala amanyikiddwa nga Regina Namande yafunamu obutakkaanya ne bbaawe ku lunaku olwo lwa Boxing Day kwe kumaliriza ng'amukubye ejjinja mu lubuto. Ejjinja lino lye yakuba omwami ono myaka 54 yasobola okuba nga afa there and then oba kyekyamuviirako okuba nga afiirwa obulamu bwe. Kati ono olunaku lw'eggulo ye yalabikiddeko mu kkooti y'e Luweero gye bamusobedde emisango gye omuli okuleetera okufa kwa bbaawe era ono teyakkiriziddwa kubanga yeeyimirirwa kubanga kkooti eyo teyina maanyi gasobola kubanga gawuliriza omusango ogwa naggomola bwe gutyo. Omukyala ono yalabikidde mu katambi nga alina omwana we era mu dokso omwo mwe yabadde mu kaguli mwe yabadde yayozeza ne ku mmunye oluvannyuma lwa ennaku gye yabadde ayitamu mu mbeera eyo. So poliisi omukyala ono Regina Namande yamaze dda okuba nga muteekayo emabega wa Mitayimbwa agenda kuba nga adda mu kkooti ennaku z'omwezi 23 omwezi ogwa Gatonnya January omwaka 2025. Nga tuvuddeko kaawo tugendeko ejjinja abannajjinja ne bala Eastern Uganda ab'enjawulo bajjukidde oba olunaku lw'eggulo basobodde okuba nga baziika n'okujjukira eyali Deputy RDC wa district ey'e Budaka. Omukyalo ono olunaku lwabadde lwa ku Sunday yasobodde okuba nga ava mu bulamu buno obw'ensi oluvannyuma lw'emmotoka gye yadde avuga ng'ava ku sayidi z'eyiganga ngadda ejjinja bwe yatomeeganye ne loore eyabadde eri mu kuva ku ludda olw'ejjinja. Omukyalo ono wamu ne driver we tebasobodde kubanga bawonawo embeera eyo. So olunaku lw'eggulo wali ejjinja bantu b'enjawulo basobodde okuba nga bajjukira omukyalo ono RDC era mu mboozi zayogeddwako bingi ebyamugeddwako omukyalo ono era ne bamwebaza okuba nga asobodde okuweereza eggwanga lye naddala mu kifo ekyo ekya Deputy RDC. Omukyalo ono era abantu abamu basobodde okuba nga nabo bongerako eddoboozi ku mbeera eno ne basaba abantu abavuga naddala ku luguudo olwo lw'ejjinja babeere extra careful oluvannyuma lw'okuba nga akabenje kano kavudde kuvuga endiima oluusi n'okuvugisa ekimama. Kigambibwa nti omukyala oba emmotoka omwabadde Deputy RDC yagezezzaako okuba ng'eyisa loole yabadde mu maaso naye unfortunately mu kuyisa ate baagudde mu kimotoka ekirala ekyabatomedde ekya loole there and then Deputy RDC n'omuvuzi we ne basobola okuba nga bava mu bulamu buno obw'ensi. So ab'Ejjinja basobodde okuba nga omukyalo ono bagezaako okuba nga bamujjukira mu kuziika oba mu lumbe olwo Ejjinja. So kyannaku nnyo era omusango guno bwe twogereranga emmotoka ezakoze accident zikyali wali ku police station Magamaga mu Jjinja era bagenda kuba nga bongerayo n'okunoonyereza balabe kiki kyennyini ekyaliwo naddala mu kufa kw'omukyala ono. Okyali ku Digital TV amannya Edgar Mathew Karuhanga. Eddakiika zino ziri 14 ezakayita ku ssaawa 2 ez'okumakya. Mbagambye olunaku luno olwaleero ngenda kubeera ne Counsel Kato Tumusiime munnamateeka wa kkooti enkulu ate nga of course aviira wali mu Banturaki company advocates bannamateeka era tugenda kuba tunyumya ku biki ebigenda maaso mu ggwanga na ngeri ki eggwanga lino erya Uganda gye lisobola okuba nga litereramu. Kati nno olunaku olwaleero ng'omwaka tugumaliriza kibeera kya bulijjo okuba nga abantu ab'enjawulo bakuŋŋaanira mu masinzizo ne basobola okuba nga bajjaguliza wamu n'omutonzi waabwe nga bayingira omwaka omujja. Kati nno poliisi esabye abantu ab'enjawulo okubeera bulindaala ne security conscious naddala nga bategeka ebivulu n'okusaba okw'amakanisa okw'enjawulo ng'omwaka guno guggwako. Tulabyeko bapasita ab'enjawulo nga nabo boogera ku ntegeka zaabwe ze bali mu kukola naddala engeri gye bagenda okuba nga bayingiramu mu mwaka ogwa 2025. Akulembera abalokole mu ggwanga Pastor Sewadda yamaze dda okuba nga asaba aba VCC Victory Christian Center okuba nga beetegekera. Nalabyeko Pastor Aloysius Bujingo naye ayina okusaba kwategese. Nalabyeko Apostle Grace Lubega wa Funeral Ministries International nabo bategese wali ku Funeral Grounds enaggulu. Pastor Chiganda naye ndooza ali Old Kampala gye bategese mpola mpola. So okujaguza okugenda okuba nga kuyingiza abantu mu mwaka abantu ab'enjawulo beetegese naye poliisi ye basabye okubeera very cautious. Ndooza waliwo ne designated areas ze bawadde ezigenda okuba nga zikola fireworks. Poliisi ndooza yawaddeyo ebifo nga 10 mu Kampala wano ebikkirizibwa okuba nga bikuba ebiriroliro nga tuyingira omwaka. Jjukira nga oyingira omwaka olina okubeera extremely careful. Ebintu bingi ebitera okubeerawo era tusaba abantu ab'enjawulo tubeere bulindaala naddala nga muli mu kuyingira omwaka guno omujja. Yo poliisi yasabye edda guidelines musobole okuba nga muzigoberera ate nammwe kiba kirungi okuba nga wettanira amasinzizo oba kyonna kiri kyoyagala ng'omwaka oguyingira. Ndowooza nga tumaliriza omukyala eyali executive director owa Uganda National Roads Authority UNRA omukyala Allen Kagina wamu ne ku banne ab'enjawulo olunaku lw'eggulo bahandinze over empapula oba kyowaligambye officially bahandinze over office to the Ministry of Works and Transport. Omukolo guno Allen Kagina yakakasizza nti no officially bo nga aba UNRA bingi bye bakoze naye ate Ministry of Works egenda kutandikirawo ku bitundutundu 3 ebibulayo okubanga 30% of the roads ezibadde zibulayo okubanga ziri completed naddala mu kisanja kyabwe. Bano aba UNRA ndooza mujjukira according to the rationalization policy just to note that was envisioned by General Kaleba Kandwanaho also known as Salim Saleh mu 2021 ye yaleetawo policy eno eya rationalization ey'okubanga government agencies bazigatta ne ministries ez'enjawulo era mu ebyo ndooza mujjukirako UCDA Uganda Coffee Development Authority wetwogeranga emirimu gyayo gyonna gyakwasibwa ministry eya agriculture then wetwogeranga UNRA emirimu gyayo gyonna gyakwasibwa the Ministry of Works and Transport. So wetwogerera buli mulimu ogw'okuzimba oluguudo mu ggwanga lino erya Uganda lugenda kubeera nga guli directly involved n'abantu abo aba Ministry of Works. Then Kyagulanyi ye yakakasizza Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu ono nga ye mukulembeze wa National Unity Platform era nga kye kibiina ekikulembera opposition mu ggwanga lino erya Uganda. Yakakasizza dda nti ye akalulu ka 2026 agenda kabeeramu. Yes, yakakasizza dda that is an avenue for him that he believes many Ugandans need. So agenda kwetaba mu kalulu akajja aka 2026 naye ate yagambye ali ready to entertain an idea for a coalition okwegatta kwa buli muntu alowooza nti President Museveni yandibadde alekerawo okulembera lino eggwanga. So Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu yakakasizza nti coalition yali ready okubanga agitandika ate n'agyegatta nako n'asobola okubanga ejja President Museveni mu buyinza. Naye bannayuganda bamu bali skeptical ku Robert Kyagulanyi ono naddala engeri gy'abadde azannyamu politics oba ebyobufuzi oluvannyuma lwa obukuubagano obwabalimu ye ne Mpuuga Mathias yali deputy we naddala wano mu Buganda region. So mu mbeera eyo omwami ono wetwogerera nga ye yakakasizza dda nti engeri politics gyasambibwa mu ngeri Kyagulanyi gy'anaazannyamu politics abantu katusuubire banaasobola okumwegattako. Naye omwami ono Robert Kyagulanyi abadde alaze nga atali really steadfast and serious about taking power. Ekireseewo ne ebigambo olumu bigamba nti void Kyagulanyi gyalese mu opposition ebadde y'amaanyi nnyo nti emirimu takoze nga we gyali gimusuubiddwamu mu mbeera eyo. Naye katulinde tulabe coalition eno engeri gy'enaatambulamu ate nga kino kirina engeri gye ki-underminingamu Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu kubanga oba ojjukira bulungi omwami ono azze ayawukana n'abantu ab'enjawulo mu political party ye. So how can you really work on a coalition yet you have already had a divide and rule inside your political camp? Ebyo byonna ndowooza tunaabirinda tubirabe omwaka ogujja engeri gye binaatambulamu. Okay, lastly ku dakiika zino abiri ezakayita ku ssaawa 2 Jimmy Carter president wa US yamaze dda okubanga ava mu bulamu buno obwensi olunaku lw'eggulo we yavudde mu bulamu buno obwensi. Jimmy Carter yafuga eggwanga lino erya America okuva mu mwaka gwa 1977 paka mu 81. Yafuga ekisanja kyali kimu kyokka naye mwami ajja kujjukirwa nnyo mu Democratic Party gye yalimu naye ate ne mu ggwanga lino erya United States of America. Jimmy Carter ekisooka agenza okubanga ava mu bulamu buno obwensi ng'ali ku myaka 10 bweddu. One would say that's a full life. Awo omuntu aba oba olivinze, one would say oba olivinze 100 years, that's a full life. Omwami ono aweereza nnyo mu tenure ye bajja mujjukira nnyo kubanga yali muntu waligambye omuntu mulamu, musajja yali mulokole kyekisooka era yajja mu time ya American Revival ne wano mu Uganda I think in the 70s yali etandika mpola mpola the Chiwempe movement abajjukira. So Jimmy Carter ono yajjanga beacon of Christianity at a time era ng'eggwanga erya America at that time bali really endowed into Christianity era kyabaleetera n'okubanga bafuna omukulembeze eyajja nga mulokole era ekyasinga n'okubanga kimuteesa ne mu ntebe eyo zezo beliefs ze yayina ezaali ez'enjawulo naye ate ezo beliefs zennyini ze zamwana mininga okubanga tasobola kudda mu kalulu ka 81 era we twalabira Ronald Reagan president wa America owa 37 ng'ajja mu ntebe eyo. Naye Jimmy Carter musajja abadde w'amaanyi era ajja kujjukirwa nnyo ate ye n'engeri gye yayingiramu entebe waligambye teyali nzibu nnyo wadde nga talinga Donald Trump. Donald Trump ye teyaliko mu office yonna ye musajja yekka asoose okuva gonna gy'avudde n'afuuka president wa America. Abalala bonna bayise mu governor, abalala bagenzeko mu senate naye ye yabuuka bubuusi. Kati ne swift ascending ey'omwami ono eyafudde unfortunately naye oba fortunately yali nnyanguko era feva abadde na nnyingi era yalina nnyingi ng'agezaako okubanga ajja mu bukulembeze. So yoyo Jimmy Carter ate bajja mujjukira nnyo si ku lw'emirimu gye yakola naddala mu America. Domestically teyali mulungi nnyo naye foreign policy ye ng'akyafuga ate ng'amaze n'okufuga yali y'amaanyi nnyo. Omusajja abadde so humanitarian, yatandikawo foundation ebadde egenda nga eyamba abantu ab'enjawulo mu mawanga ag'enjawulo era ekyo kijja kujjukirwa nnyo. Jimmy Carter awadde abantu ab'enjawulo shelters, azimbidde abantu ab'enjawulo amayumba mu mawanga ag'enjawulo, awadde abantu amazzi, free water. So he has been a humanitarian president. Jimmy Carter ku myaka gye 10 alivinze obulamu bwaligambye obuli full. So ndowooza kamalirize ne mukyala we yafa mu I think 2021 mukyala we yasooka okufa ku myaka 77 naye unfortunately ne Jimmy Carter yatuuse n'amwegattako. Ndowooza omwoyo gwe Mukama agulamuze kisa. Nze Edgar Mathew Karuhanga ke kaseera tuwummulemu katono bwe tukomawo ngenda kwegattibwako Counsel Kato Tumusiime tunyumyemu ku mboozi za Uganda na ngeri ki eggwanga lino gisobola okuba nga tulitereezaamu. Zizino eddakiika 22 zakayita ku ssaawa 2. Let's take a short commercial break. You're still watching Digital TV.
The Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.
At first, we hit your gadgets with our state-of-the-art digitalized mobile studio with the debate on the road behind the wheels. Later, we launched our magnificent studios located on Plot 1A, Sawagude Close, Lukulinanganda, Machindye, Kampala, where we bring to you our must-watch shows like The Mighty Drive, Monday to Friday, 8 a.m., Hotline, Mondays, 7 p.m. As for legal matters, Twins at Bar, Tuesdays, 11 a.m. Wednesdays, 6 p.m. is Afro-Caribbean Link, where we connect Africa with the Caribbean. Voltage on Thursdays, 7 p.m., featuring a youthful panel. Interface with Dr. Kiza Besije every Friday, 12 p.m. with his call to action against injustices. Snap Talk, Saturdays, 6 p.m. with the trio. A must-watch, The Political Dice, Sundays, 8 p.m. with the duo that never stammers, and so much more. Watch us live on all our social media platforms. We are The Alternative Digitalk. Real issues, real talk.
Hey Teddy, have you noticed how little attention science and health issues get in the media?
Totally, Edgar, yet science information is very important.
Yeah, for sure. That's why the Health Journalists Network is here.
How can they help?
They are a group of journalists dedicated to advancing public understanding of healthcare issues through impactful reporting on health and science.
Oh, really?
Yes, they meet up every month with scientists and researchers, policymakers, and activists at the Science Media Cafes. They then relay what they discuss to the public.
Does that benefit us?
Oh yes, very much so. This helps with health and science literacy for a healthy Ugandan society.
Okay. I love getting informed about science and health issues. Health information makes all the difference between life and death. I'll look them up and engage them.
That's great. They are based all over the country.
Oh, okay. That's interesting, and they should be making real impact.
They are empowering health communities through journalism. Journalists can save lives just like doctors.
Hi Rogers, can I ask you something?
Shoot.
The Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.
Mukuliko eyo mukuumulamu okwo. Nze Edgar Mathew Karuhanga ndabye eddakiika 27 ezakayita ku ssaawa 2 ez'okumakya era okyali ku Digital TV. Eno program gy'olaba The Mighty Drive eri ku Facebook naye ate eri ne ku YouTube. So obwanga olinamu kunkenyera ku platform yonna osobola okuba nga ogenda ku platform endala kijja kuba nga kisobola okuba nga kibayamba. Nga nabagambye nina munnamateeka wa kkooti enkulu obaga wayisa advocate of the High Court, Counsel Kato Tumusiime. Sigwe mulundi gwe ogusoose okubeera wano naffe atera nnyo okujja n'atukyalirako naye ate nga atubuildingira insights naddala ku ggwanga lino erya Uganda ku bice ebiba bigenda mu maaso ate nangeri ki eggwanga lino gisobola okuba nga liimprovingamu. Era ono nno munnamateeka mostly ali inclined in human rights, agezaako okuba nga advocatingira eddembe ly'obuntu eri abannayuganda. Tumulabyeko mu misango egy'enjawulo, yaliko omusango gwa pressure 24/7 oyo omwana gwe bakwata ku lw'okuba nga ayogera ebigambo eby'enjawulo. tumulabyeko omusango gwa Dr. Kiza Besigye y'omu ku bannamateeka be mu musango ogwo y'omu ku bannamateeka abaali badefendinga ba FDC members abakwatibwa okuva e Kenya ne bateekebwa mu kkooti y'amagye. So abadde nnyo mu kkooti y'amagye naddala ku nsonga zino ez'abantu abo. So ye Besigye eyo lwaki we tumuleese wano asobole okuba nga atuwa ku experiences ze naddala mu mwaka guno ogwa 2024 ate ye omwaka gwa 2025 agulaba atya yeyo basis ya conversation eno. So oba olina ekibuuzo kyonna olina comment yonna giteekeko at the Alternative Uganda page ate tuline ku Digital TV zonna ziri ku Facebook ne ku YouTube. Enfunayo akadde musawa yaffe ey'okubiri eyo nja sobola okuba nga mubuuza ebimu ku bibuuzo ebyo. Counsel Kato wasuze otya ssebo tukwaniriza?
Bulungi ssebo wasuze otya? Nasuze
bulungi.
Nsanyuse okubeera wano olunaku olwaleero.
Ate ekitiibwa kiba kyaffe mukama wange gwe buli owovuga amafuta go n'akaddeko nejja wano ssebo tukitwala nga kya bulijjo era twagala okwebaza.
Nange nesiima.
Omwaka gubadde gutya?
Omwaka gubaddemu ebintu bingi generally nga bw'okyogedde on the human rights perspective kitagenda bulungi mu maaso bingi ebibaddewo era buli omwazi ng'abiraba. Ne bw'ova ku human rights perspective abductions ziyitiridde mu ggwanga lino, obubbi bweyongedde, obubbe bw'ebitabo n'obubbe bw'eryanyi. Kwegamba omwaka guno
n'oba internet
tegubadde mwaka
milioni 17
nti ebibadde bigenda mu maaso bingi era buli omu alina engeri gyaze ng'abikwatako. Their contribution has been different depending on where they fall and how they come up. Tujja kulabira ku ndowooza tutandike ne ku palamenti yaffe. Parliament of deals everywhere. Buli omu ddiira kati mu parliament.
Parliament oginako obuzibu okuja nga tetunagenda ku parliament eyo. Mbadde gye sinjaga manya your experience because you have this year you have been really a common denominator mu misango gya human rights okulabyeko mu naddala mu kkooti y'amagye. Obadde mu nnyo. How has it been for you defending or taking part in such cases?
That's true. I have been so much busy in such cases of human rights violations and freedoms. But to be honest, it has not been an easy journey. It has not been an easy journey. To start with is that the more you appear in such kind of cases, there is a way you are termed as some of the opposition kind of an individual, some of a terrorist, some of a person who is against the government programs, and that's the characterization they put on you. You wear the face of the people that you usually represent. So it breaks you in one way or the other if you're not strong-hearted and if you don't know why you're doing what you're doing. But that one has not scared me anymore, and the problem is that you face a lot of risks because you are involved in the cases that most of them take to be high-profile cases.
Yes, they are.
Cases most of them take to be cases against the government and the regime, the people in power. And the risks you face include risks that even go to your personal life, right to life, because you face a lot of challenges. That's being honest to you. Really. But I am a believer, I'm a Christian, I believe in God. I believe if my day has not come, then I will still be here and I will still serve.
So you're not threatened in any way?
Threats come, but what do I have to do against them? It's just to continue playing.
Why do you choose
more and more years?
Why do you choose those controversial cases? Why is it that Gwetukulaba wali side etali ya government eranga bugame that people you start to wear that face? Why do you choose the villains of the state?
They are not opposition cases, or they are not cases against the state, as you may say, or they are not controversial cases.
You are defending the message. You are defending the 36 FDC members who were doing terrorist activities. You are looking for the pressure.
They are presumed to have been involved in that, in such kind of activities, like you say. There is a presumption of innocence that it is now the state and the prosecution to prove that actually these people were involved in those cases. If you look at the circumstances and the manner these people were handled, my intuitions actually bring me to what I do. Remember, before I became an advocate, I was an activist myself. So I know what activists go through. I know what is good. I am a believer in a good governance, believer in the rule of law, constitutionalism, and the rule that govern this country should be based on the provisions of the Constitution. So where I feel that there are violations on human rights and freedoms taking place in this country, I should not sit down, because I should also use my tools, my experience, my knowledge, my career to also help and represent those people. Because most of these people that are attached to such cases that most of them call controversial, or most of them refer to as cases against the government, are people that end up being neglected by the rest of the public. Now, somebody who believes in the good cause, that must be shown, because I should do what I preach. If I preach good governance, rule of law, constitutionalism, then I should be seen to be doing the same. Shouldn't keep on coming on digital and tell people that we must respect the rule of law, we must respect the Constitution, we must be people that believe in good governance, and then I see somebody being mistreated because of their involvement in the activities they believe must contribute to constitutionalism and rule of law or good governance in this country, and then I'm home seated. My contribution will come in the legal representation. That's what I can offer.
That's the least you can
for
do.
now, because I don't think I will have enough money to keep contributing to the rest of the people. But my contribution is what I have as an individual, and that can help the many that are being mistreated, that are being persecuted, that are being kidnapped each and every day, that whose rights and freedoms are being violated on a daily basis. I have to ensure that we are all kept as human beings, equal under and before the law.
Okay, that's a good one. There is a case of, for example, pressure 256. That gentleman, the pressure. I don't know. Is it pressure 24/7?
24/7.
24/7 pressure. And there are many cases like that these days, where the main element is communication. You've offensively communicated. You've said something that is not right. And I remember there was this bill that many of them are being charged under. Is just a recent case that was, I think, a law that was passed, that was tabled by Nsenko.
2022.
So it feels like there is no longer a voice. There is another TikToker called Madubala.
There are so
Madubala is
many
behind
actually.
bars. Yes,
So many.
there are many cases this year around communication.
Yeah, around that age.
What's up?
I may say that the Constitution gives us a mandate, gives us a right to express ourselves. We have a right to give opinions against what we believe in.
Yeah.
And you brought a very good case of pressure 24/7. I am still actually partly involved in that case. And I will make sure that I fight it up to the end of it. Because at the end of it all, you look at the law that these people are being charged under. This is a law that we challenge.
Computer
It was passed in
misuse.
2022. We challenged that in the Constitutional Court. This is 2024. And the Court of Appeal is just the Constitutional Court, which sits as at the same time as the Court of Appeal, is not taking any actions, even when they are seeing that people are being still persecuted under this law in the guise of offensive communication. So, like somebody who is part of the people that challenged that law, I cannot sit down.
I remember.
And
I was the Digital TV was there as you were
yes, and
challenging
that's why I am so much involved in offering my services to the people that are being charged under the law that I believe is unconstitutional. Because if the Constitution gives us a right to give our opinions, express ourselves, in fact, the Constitution should allow us to define you the way we feel. It allows us to tell you what we feel about you. Not to limit ourselves and then say we must always be praising.
But then where is the
even when
thin
you are
line?
doing what is.
I think. Let me ask, where is the
uncalled
thin
for.
line? Where is the thin line for this offensive communication? Because now I'm not understanding what is dubbed as offensive.
Now offensive now is the whole kind of offenses that are related under Computer Misuse Act are offenses that are used by the politicians, the so-called the people in power, who want to use their excessiveness against the rest of the people that don't agree with what they are doing. Okay?
Yes, sir.
You have seen, for example, the former RCC Anderson Vorora being charged under the Computer Misuse Act because he came out and said that Parliament was full of corrupt people, including the Speaker as head of that Parliament.
Yes.
But because the Speaker has and believes she has that command, she used the rest of the police and the courts of law to have this man charged and arrested.
Yeah, and he was.
You get? But because what this man was saying, the RCC, and like the rest of the people were saying, is that we have a parliament that is fronting corruption on a daily basis. That's factual. Nobody will take it out. Okay? And we have a right to call that parliament a corrupt parliament, which is headed by a corrupt speaker, the deputy speaker, the commissioners. They are all corrupt people. And by saying that they are corrupt, then we shouldn't be being charged under the Computer Misuse Act, because we have expressed our feelings, we have given our opinions, and we are saying the truth and the reality.
Counsel, now, the truth and your reality has costed a person 6 years. There's a person who has been convicted.
Obviously, he was convicted. He was convicted, we intervened, and actually we are appealing against that conviction.
6 years?
Because you see, in law, there are things we must consider. For example, a plea of guilt. Somebody has not wasted time. There is what we call mitigating factors. What should be considered before you sentence this person? Okay? But all those, if they are ignored because somebody was annoyed, and my biggest challenge is that the people they think we annoy, all these people that are being arrested and remanded annoy, don't even show up to say that I was annoyed. You see, annoyance is in personam. It is you, Edgar, who feels that I have been annoyed by what Kato said at this show. It is not Ari who is seated there to say that, but what Kato said on the show annoyed Edgar. You don't feel annoyed on my behalf. The complainant must be the person to come to court and actually give his feelings about what you said and how.
I remember Stella Nyanzi said the same thing, that if President Museveni is saying that I abused him, I think he should be here to charge me directly.
Now the case you brought about of pressure 24/7. This is a case of February.
Yes.
We have been in court now close to 10 months. Okay? No witness has been brought in that case, for example. It has been given the last adjournment for about 5 times. I don't know if the last adjournment has changed its meaning before that trial magistrate. That's his business. But the complainants in that case, including the Speaker, President Museveni, the First Lady, I don't know, Vijingo, and the rest, nobody has ever showed up, because we have people that take the pain on behalf of the rest.
Is our constitution still does it still have that sanctity to be called a constitution, or as one of the scholars, your scholars said, that this is a book of lies? Because I'm trying to look for how biting it is, but I'm not seeing it.
You see, it all depends on where you are, which side you fall onto. Because even the people that want to interpret that constitution depend on who are they pleasing at the end of it all. This is the reality that I'm telling you. Okay? Because the same law that is used against somebody that is in support of the regime is interpreted in a different way when it falls to somebody that is against, that is presumed to be against the regime, or that is challenging the regime. Because my coming here and explaining to you why I believe a certain thing should have been done in a different manner doesn't make me your opponent. In fact, I should be your first #1 fan, because I am helping you to correct your mistakes.
I'm giving you an alternative.
Yes. Okay, but
I'm actually your friend.
Yeah, but the way they play around with the laws that we have in this country is something that everybody should be concerned about, especially when we are nearing the election period.
Do you think we are? As a people generally, are we concerned about our constitution? Because I believe, or to some of the people I have talked to, they no longer see it as. In fact, people don't even know they are low. If you realize that.
Yes, most of them
They don't even
actually
care.
Don't know. Most of them don't know, because among the reasons they don't know is that even the government itself that has the mandate under the same constitution to publicize the constitution, to translate into different languages so that it is easily accessible, to promote the teaching of the constitution in institutions including schools, which is a mandate, has failed and ignored to make it a public document. Because the constitution is a public document. It's our Bible as the lawyers. The way people run the Bible is the same way people must learn this constitution and understand. But the challenge is that even when the government has failed to do what it is supposed to do, people have also not got interested in having access to the constitution and reading about what is entailed in that constitution. The challenge comes in that where you are caught and they are charging you under the same law, that's when now you realize, oh, surely did this actually exist at some point? That's the challenge.
Exactly. Yeah.
And when people have not become victims of the law, most of them don't want to bother about what the constitution holds or what any other law holds.
Some even want to change. I remember General Kayura saying 2 days are not enough to investigate someone.
But after how many months?
9
he was
months.
there
He
and
was still
the same person crying.
Still crying,
against.
exactly.
So that's a problem in that most of the people that we have here in Uganda, including the judicial officers, they have been in those offices for so long, including the prosecutors. They forget that at the end of it all, things will turn away around and they will be the people in the dock, and then somebody else will be in that seat as a judicial officer and then reading to you the same things. And surprisingly, most of them will be referring to your cases that you decided as a judicial officer.
Yes,
And then
I'm
you
basing
have
on the
yourself
case
remanded.
of
The precedents will bar them, and then you will be the person now facing the same cons. And I believe if people understood that we live in a world that is not on a straight line always, then we would be commanding our consciousness to do what is right.
Okay, let me go to the General Court Martial. What some of you call the tribunal.
It's a tribunal.
You like to call it a tribunal. I want to first look not at the persecution, what you have called the persecution of some political players, because some civilians, in fact civilians are not allowed in that court, but there are civilians that are being charged
So many
there.
of them.
But let me first look at how it's not working on Mr. Muhoozi Kainerugaba. I am not a soldier, but I believe that some of the messages this person he has been making over time have been political in nature. And as a serving soldier, in fact a full CDF, I don't think these are things that would just go unchecked like that. Where is the heart of the tribunal?
Now, the tribunal is part of the executive that is headed by the president, who is the commander-in-chief of the armed forces.
Yes.
Okay? The commander-in-chief is the one who appoints the people that head that tribunal, that general court-martial. Okay? The commander-in-chief is the one who appointed his son as the CDF of this country. The purpose of the court-martial, the general court-martial, its purpose under the UPDF Act as revised, is to keep discipline in the army, strictly in the army. Okay? And now, like I said, is that most of these people are pleasers to the rest of the appointing authority. They are pleasers to the first son, because I believe if we had a CDF who was making such kind of unrelated tweets, unrelated comments on every social media platform, that person would be in the court-martial being tried, because they would be referred to as indisciplined. But because this person who is a CDF doubles as a first son, the first son who most of them actually believe is capable of being the next president of this country, which I highly doubt, cannot tamper with him, because they fear the repercussion that will come from the father, who is the commander and the appointing authority to the people that head that court-martial. But the double standards that are being portrayed in the trying of the APDF officers and civilians in that court-martial now differ on who actually should be tried in the general court martial because of what they are being posted. Tribalistic messages, attacks on foreign and territories, on every individual. That's a sign of indiscipline. And Article 208 of the Constitution is clear that the UPDF shall be a disciplined army. But you look at the tweets, the people that are supposed to instill discipline in the rest of their colleagues, which is the general court martial, are there seated and interested in charging Kanovesiji and Obed Rutari and the other civilians of the NUP who were found with the berets and the rest.
Yeah.
They have left what they are supposed to be doing and they are doing what they are not supposed to be doing, like the Bible said.
Wow.
Okay?
Now, because you see those things that you say, they look small, but they are not small.
They are not small at
They are
all.
not small at all.
But sometimes I reach home and ask myself whether these people remember and know what they're supposed to be doing in their seats and offices. I have failed to get that answer. Because if a simple me can understand that the purpose of the General Court Martial is to instill discipline and keep the armed forces disciplined at whatever cost, at whatever levels, including the people that are part of the PDF but are sent on foreign missions. It's the role of the General Court Martial to keep them on a checklist. Why have they failed now to check their person? Who is he as a CDF? I think he's even masquerading. He must not be operating as a CDF here, but maybe somebody else is operating. Attacking the fellow colleagues in the UPDF, including General even when I don't
Called him a
much
buffoon.
even when I don't much agree with what he did, but really, he must be respected as an
Called him a buffoon. And he said you should run as far as those short legs can take you.
And all their intentions are to instill fear in the rest of us, including the lawyers that attend that court martial, okay, to represent the people, because we have the right to represent whoever we feel that needs our services, or whoever gives us instruction to represent them. But their purpose is to scare us, to instill, fear in us, to frustrate us, so that at the end of it all we leave that tribunal to continue operating the way it has been. And this is our message, that we shall also make sure that we expose each and every detail that happens in that court martial as a tribunal, and actually let the people know that it's not a court of law.
As you are saying, it's not even a court of law and you're going to appeal, you're going to try to advocate and show the people. But this court that we are speaking about, there is no appeal. So if Counsel Kato today, you are convicted by this general court martial, whereas you are saying all those nice words, there is nowhere else you can
the
ever
court
go
martial
to.
itself has the general court martial court of appeal. It has it. But still the composition is almost the same by the armed forces.
So whatever is made, a decision that is made there,
the decision that
there's no way you can
the
go.
decision that the Supreme Court passed recently, it distanced itself from the business of the general court martial. The following day, the president, who is this commander-in-chief, wrote a letter saying that no, the purpose of the court martial was to instill discipline. He actually brought the same words that I am using here.
Exactly.
And he said, but because we had so many cases, the backlog in the civilian courts, that's why they created that tribunal, so that it can ease and make faster the processes of trying these people that are involved in unlawful acts in the armed forces. But he said in the same letter that where the civilian courts find a reason or find a point that the general court martial did not follow what the law presupposes to be done, then they must intervene and correct the error. I am waiting for the Chief Justice to reply to the same letter, but he's just a sleeping one.
Wow. So you can intervene? Like the court that you guys go to, the civil courts can intervene in...
Yes, that's the president's word. That's the president's letter.
Isn't the president contradicting himself now?
Generally, we have precedents that say that when somebody is given a death sentence as his punishment, then the highest court of the land must be the one to confirm that death sentence.
Yeah.
Now, what's the highest court of the land? We have the Supreme Court. Of Uganda. But if the Chief Justice who heads the Supreme Court now says we have no business with whatever transpires in the General Court Martial, now you wonder, and it takes me back to the same question that do these people reach home and actually reflect and make refreshments in their memories to see that what I am doing actually is messing up the whole system and the whole country?
Okay, but can someone from the Court of Appeal in the General Court Martial at least be tried in the Supreme Court?
Ordinarily, that's what it would be, because if you are given a death sentence as your punishment, then the highest court of the land must confirm that death sentence. And how does it confirm? It follows what has been the trial process.
No, but that
Where
is what it has to happen. But what is happening
What
now?
is happening is that the Supreme Court has made the ruling and they said no. If the General Court Martial Court of Appeal gives you a sentence, then that's it. You go and die. You wait for them to take you to whichever place they want to take you, and you wait for your death.
So right now, if Dr. Besigye is convicted of the cases that he's charged against, there would not be any other solution.
From what the Supreme Court has...
And it's the highest court in the land, remember?
Since it has given. But you see, the Supreme Court has the powers to sit again and revise its own decisions. And I know they may be triggered by the letter from the President, who is the appointing authority of the Chief Justice. Maybe he must have given him a call and said, please, this was uncalled for, and maybe you can do something against it.
Oh.
But as it stands now, that's the position, that if you are tried by the General Court Martial and you appeal to the General Court Martial Court of Appeal, and the General Court Martial Court of Appeal gives you a punishment, then that's the end of it.
Then, as Rukutana says, you will appeal in heaven.
You will appeal to God.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're still watching the Mighty Drive Show. I am with Counsel Kato Tumusiime. He's an advocate of the High Court. He has been at the center of various cases in the country. One of the main cases is the case of Dr. Besigye versus the General Court Martial that charges him with a couple of charges: mobilizing for resources to change government, and of course her possession of weapons in that various particular case. Maybe lastly, Doctor, on the case of, maybe Counsel, on the case of Dr. Besigye, what does the General Court Martial say when people are taken from other countries and brought here?
Of course,
how does that work?
They cited certain provisions in the UPDF Act. But the reading of the provision they cited, I have forgotten the exact section,
yes,
relates to the people that are part of the UPDF but are sent on foreign missions. For example, the people that are sent to Somalia, Central African Republic, DRC Congo, if you commit a service offense in those countries on a foreign mission, you can be charged in a General Court Martial here in Uganda. Okay?
No problem.
The challenge now comes in that this is a civilian, first of all. The civilian is believed to have committed an offense in a different country.
Yes.
Okay? And you don't know whether that country allows people to own guns or not.
Exactly. Because there's a jurisdiction at least.
It's different. It's different. But you want to usurp the powers of a different territory, which is Kenya, for example, and you want to charge people for committing offenses in Kenya, where Kenya has courts of law, where Kenya has security, where Kenya has all those things that they could use if they believe that somebody committed an offense in their country, then they could have them tried.
Okay.
But this is not the only about Dr. Besigye. It includes the other statistics that were also abducted.
Yes.
So, these all relate to abductions, extra territorial power, usurping the power of the territory, independence of the territory, and here we are messing up with the East African community.
Wow, let's take a break now. When we come back, we shall continue with the conversation with Counsel Kato Tumusiime. My name is Edgar Mathew Karuhanga. Thank you so much for watching. I saw a comment that English is too much. We will try to work on that in the next hour of the show. My name is Edgar Mathew Karuhanga. Let's take a break now.
The Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.
At first, we hit your gadgets with our state-of-the-art digitalized mobile studio with the debate on the road behind the wheels. Later, we launched our magnificent studios located on Plot 1A, Sewagude Close, Lukulinanganda, Machinde, Kampala, where we bring to you our must-watch shows like The Mighty Drive, Monday to Friday, 8 a.m., Hotline, Mondays, 7 p.m. As for legal matters, Twins at Bar, Tuesdays, 11 a.m. Wednesdays, 6 p.m. is Afro-Caribbean Link, where we connect Africa with the Caribbean. Voltage on Thursdays, 7 p.m., featuring a youthful panel. Interface with Dr. Kiza Besije every Friday, 12 p.m. with his call to action against injustices. Snap Talk, Saturdays, 6 p.m. with the trio. A must-watch, The Political Dice, Sundays, 8 p.m. with the duo that never stammers, and so much more. Watch us live on all our social media platforms. We are The Alternative Digitalk. Real issues, real talk.
Hi, Rogers. Can I ask you something?
Shoot.
What does corruption mean?
Well, summarily, corruption is abuse of public power for personal gain or for the benefit of a group to which one owes allegiance. For example, when a public office is abused by an official accepting or soliciting a bribe. By the way, private people can be corrupt too, like bribing police officers to escape fines.
Okay. So exactly how does that concern me?
Well, do you pay taxes?
I guess, yeah. What does that have to do with this?
Everything. Because those taxes you pay are supposed to facilitate services you use, like water, electricity, roads construction, medicines in hospitals, name it.
Okay, that is much bigger than I thought. But it can be stopped, right?
Well, yes, it can. Although it may not be as easy as it sounds. And here is the reason why. Corruption roots are grounded in our country's social, political, economic, bureaucratic traditions and policies.
So, what has kept it going this long? I mean, why don't we stop it?
Well, the main reason why it has been here for so long is because institutions are weak, either as a result of poorly defined ethical standards of public service, weak administrative and financial systems, or ineffective watchdog agencies.
What can we do to stop it?
At a national level, we must focus on strengthening the independence and effectiveness of public institutions that fight corruption. At a personal level, we must commit to never giving a bribe.
I promise I'll never give a bribe.
Well, that's a great decision you have made. Me and you now have to spread this message to all our friends. If we all do our part, corruption will be no more.
This message is brought to you by Alternative Digitalk.
The Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.
Yes, mukulike ey'omukuumulamu okwo. Tuli mu ssaawa yaffe ey'okubiri wano ku Digitalk TV. Amannya nze Edgar Mathew Karuhanga. Oba wakanneegattako ndi ne Counsel Kato Tumusiime munnamateeka wa kkooti enkulu. Yoyo munnamateeka abadde akiikirira Dr. Besije ali mu musango ogw'aba FDC members abaakwatibwa mu Kenya 36 yabadde abadefendinga abadde yawuliriza ne ku pressure 24/7 gyegimu ku misango emitono ku mingi ddala gyabadde akolamu naddala wano mu ggwanga lya Uganda. Era mu mbeera eyo tuli mu kumubuuza ku biki ebigenda maaso mu ggwanga lino ate engeri ki gye tusobola okuba nga eggwanga lino tulifuula eggwanga eddungi. Oba olina message ne comment n'essaawa giweereze kati ekibuuzo kyo kyonna nja kuba nga mbiddamu wano oba nga mbiweereza omwami Counsel Kato Tumusiime asobole okuba nga abaddamu. Mbagambe tukyayogera ku biki ebigenze maaso mu ggwanga ate nga tetwogera bwogezi ku bizibu naye to finding a solutions nga ffe tulowooza nga bannamawulire tusobola okuba nga tuwaayo eddoboozi lyaffe mu kukyusa lino eggwanga lya Uganda. Counsel, yatudde ku nsonga ya DPP ye muwaabi wa gavumenti gwali mukundaba. Omukyalo ono bangi bamusonzeemu olunwe, abamu nga bagamba omulimu gwe tagukoze bulungi nga gwe yali badde akola. Ngenda kukugirayo bannamateeka ab'enjawulo, Counsel Semakadde Isaac abakulembera mu Uganda Law Society kati ajeeyo inefficiencies za the office of the DPP and the person of the DPP herself. Counsel Aaron Kiza namulabyeko ku mukutu gwa X ng'agamba nga alina ekiwandiiko kya postinze ekya DPP we Kenya byayogedde ku bantu abali mu kubuzibwawo mu ggwanga eryo. N'agamba mbu DPP bw'ati bw'akola. Counsel gwe osoma mu nkola ya Mukyala Abodo ne ofisi eyo ki ekibulamu?
Ebibulamu bingi. Ofisi ya DPP si owekitiibwa Abodo nti yagitwala yekka, alinako abalala bangi. Naye ensonga oba ekiruubirirwa lwaki bagiteekamu abantu bangi kiri nti buli omu ayambeko munne mu kutereeza oba okuteeka mu nkola empaaba yaabwe nga bw'erina okubeera. Naye nga bannamateeka abalala sijja kwawukana nabo kubanga nange ntudde mu misango gya criminal gino DPP yagikulemberamu, ye muwaabi wa gavumenti era ffe gwe tuba tuvaasinga. Ekitegeera nti naye tuuka n'olaba nti DPP atuuka okuleeta omusango guvudde ku poliisi, DPP state attorney n'asanctioning eyo fayiro ejje mu kooti, naye ng'ekiri ku fayiro eyo kubeerako statement yani ya suspect gwe baleeseeka ne complainant naye takolanga naye statement nti eyo fayiro eba incomplete fayiro. Article 28 musemateeka waffe atugamba nti buli omu, the presumption of innocence eri ku buli omu, naye omuntu basobola omukwata ku musango ng'obukakafu oba obujulizi obuliwo buyina ekyamaanyi, it is reasonable to cause an arrest of a person or to bring that person before a court of law. Naye bw'osanga fayiro bwetyo naye nga saawa gavumenti naye agisayininzeko nti eyo fayiro egende mu kooti, kati oyo oba omuteeka mu tuli baki kitegeeza aba akulaze nti talina nakyasobola nti n'abaluddewo abavuddewo emabega n'omulamuzi wa kooti ya ICD oba yali ayomba. I don't know how I can term it. Naye abagamba n'oluzungu lwokka lwe bakozesa lufu office of the DPP number mulema mutoku just to prepare a charge sheet page emu oba bbiri. Ostegera naye kyokubiri nti office eno ya DPP bagikozeseza nnyo bangi nga wenkugambye mu kutandika, bannabyabufuzi, abantu bano abalinamu kasente, buli omu yenna kati bagitutte nga office nayo yakuzanyiramu diiru zaabwe. Nti omuntu agenda n'abeera eyo ng'ayina gwawoza naye ettaka oluusi bagala kuli mu bbako, naye olw'okuba nti mu civil tebajja kukwata Edgar bakusibe olw'okuba tuwoza wamu ettaka, bajja kuteekako ekisango sange ekya criminal. Ani agenda sanctioning ekyo kifayiro? Ye state attorney bwe bawaddeyo ze bamuwadde. Corruption wano eridde buli katundu, buli kanyommero k'eggwanga lino, kati buli wotuuka wonna corruption ejjuddewo. Bamuweze bamuwadde akuteekako kifayiro olw'okuba nti balina that window period y'emyezi 6 nga tebana committinga fayiro yo, ojja sigala ng'ogende wa magistrate ng'akurimandinga enettaka nga bakola deal zaabwe.
So it's a tool of operation.
Oba n'oluusi ogambe nze mbivuddeko sijja fiira mukomera kambyesonyiwe twala ettaka lyo. Nti
I have had nali mpuliddeko omuntu ayogera statement bwetu
nyingi because
nagamba gwe kukyonkoze
twala byoyagala bandekere eddembe
yakyongerako
frustration. Me have interacted with so many ndabye abantu bangi n'omutukako n'olaba n'obulumi bwe n'otuuka ne wa state attorney n'olaba fayiro gye bamusibidde n'owulira n'amaziga gagala kuyitamu nti DPP takoze kyalina okukola, nti ye alina okuwabula poliisi agigambe eno fayiro ebulako kino ne kino ne kino ne kino, do investigations on ABCD
temuswaza wenna agenda mu maaso ngenda kuswala
kuba DPP ye tagenda mu kukola investigations ye bamuwa fayiro nga bwe bagimuwadde n'agisomamu olw'okuba nti yalina that legal background munamateeka amanyi nti bw'omuwa fayiro ng'eriko ebintu bwe biti
asobola kujja
musango bwe guti ne guti kyobulaba ne poliisi esobola oku preferringa charge negamba ono kusinziira ku bye batubuulidde wano tujja mu charginga ne assault fayiro etuke wa DPP atakyusa agambe no okusinziira ku bujulizi obuli ku fayiro because DPP ye abesinga ku bujulizi bukulumika kyenkana ki ku musango bwe bakusuubiriza okubanga nti waza naye abawano tebeefiirayo buli omu akola kyayagala ndowooza baba bakola kubala nnaku zaabwe ziggweko akasaara kagendeyo oba n'oluusi eyalese ekifayiro amuweyo kyamuwadde bwe bityo bwe bitambula nti balese bye balina okukola naye bali ku byabwe ofisi yaffe tebagibazeemu kitiibwa
ye ekintu kyoli mu kwogerako kituufu because bajaji bangi bempuliza abalamuzi nga tukanagamba naye nga bintu byemukuteeka wano bibulamu nnyo. I think that was the case of Norman wano ne Farida bali babacharginga ng'agamba naye nga bintu bibulamu nnyo but nze kineewuunyisa then what should we say about the court itself? Namateeka bwe baba bakola kooti eno is a court designed to side with the prosecutor first ever?
No.
Because how can you check such files that are lacking such evidence but continue to convict people or to remand people?
The ideal is nti court eno guiding side zombi.
Yes.
Side y'omuwabirwa ne gwe bababira court eno bange eba guiding. Nti ne state attorney mu butuufu bwabyo ne fayiro yandituuse w'omulamuzi n'agisomamu n'agamba no I cannot remand such a person on this file because there is nothing to make this person actually appear in this court. That's ideal. Bwekyandibadde kikolebwa nti omulamuzi asome mu fayiro gye bavunaana Edgar nti yakoze kino ne kino ne kino agambe naye sirabawo obujulizi buteeta Edgar mu guno omusango kyekyandibadde kikolebwa naye abawano ekizibu kye tulina nti corruption muyitirivu mu ggwanga ate judiciary yaffe yonna mugimanyi sigamba nti zagimanyi zeka
tugiwulira
I have dealt with them I know most of them the corruption there is unbecoming nti omulamuzi naye n'alaba fayiro n'alaba nti ne ku fayiro tekuli kiriko kyandikubadde kikoletesa mu kooti naye n'agenda mu maaso n'akusindika eruzira omaleyo ku remand okomewo mu kooti nga DPP kyabagamba state attorney kiri kimu okunoonyereza ku kyagenda mu maaso investigations are still ongoing nga bwe bakurimandinga bw'okomawo bwe bakurimandinga bw'okomawo because there was that interference of the politicians or the big people that have some money na bribing omulamuzi na bribing state attorney gwe ne bakuteekako kifayiro nga tolina nakyo kimanyiko because I've seen so many people gwe bakutte nga bawoza he was idle and disorderly naye wagenda okuyitawo weeks 2 nga tebamugase ku fayiro ya robbery olwokuba balina kye bamwagaza oba balina kye baagala
wabeerawo interest
eyo era n'otuuka n'omukooti n'omulamuzi nga tasobola buswazi naye n'agamba cancel this file the state has an interest in it n'omubuuza which interest nga bujulizi tebuliiwo naye olwokuba beesigaliza ekyo ekitiibwa tosobola muddamu bwotyo in that court naye nabo bakoze omulimu munene okuyambako DPP okufrustratinga n'okupersecutinga bano abantu abaluddewo wano nakino nga sinakyerabira walaba principal judge wano ng'ayisa etteeka ekiwandiiko ng'akiweereza bano abalamuzi abakooti ezitandikirwako zi magistrate court mbu tebalina lukusa oba tebalina kuddamu kuwa omuntu yenna ali capital offense bail mu magistrate court alina okulinda emyezi 6 oba akole application mu high court which is formal ate mu zino magistrate court osobola nawe kenyini gwe babiri n'ogamba nina abaana eyimirira nsaba kweyimirirwa ne bakuwa bail n'okola ki n'ogenda naye yayisiza ekyo kiwandiiko era ekyo ekiwandiiko kya principal judge kibayindinga bano ba magistrate kuba yakulira abo bonna ba wansi nti kino kubanga kituleetera ekifaananyi kyetulina okutunira ewala ffe ng'abalwanizi b'eddembe ly'obuntu namwe abantu ba bulijjo kuba bino ebiseera bye tugendamu biseera bya kalulu omanyi lwaki bakirese mu buno obudde nti bano abasinga bwe bagenda kukulaba nga alwanyisa gavumenti ng'owa opposition ow'amaanyi oba ng'agezaako okutereeza ebintu nga bwe birina okutambula mu ggwanga bakuteekeko ekisango kya capital olw'okuba DPP Directorate of Public Prosecution nvundu bakuteekeko kifayiro ekyo nga tekuli yadde ne bweba peegi emu ey'obukakafu oba obujulizi obukuteekako omusango naye bagifuule capital offense bakusindike wa magistrate naye nga kaddeeti nga kadda wa gavumenti eno agambe waaye batugamba ekifo kiwandiiko wakiraba tetulina kusaluuliza bail era ajja kugamba kimu you cannot even say anything this is a capital matter linda up to the committee state ekutwekaawo mu myezi 6 nga bagamba kimu investigations are still ongoing nti bano ababiri bajja kuba nga beekobaanyi gwe bakusindika eruzire ogende okuvaayo nga n'akalulu kagwadde.
Exactly.
It is just a tool coming in to neutralize the opponents of the government.
Yet it's the only avenue for justice.
It is the only avenue for justice. Chobola banze n'abalala abakanya nange tugamba nti mu biseera ebijja mu maaso eno judiciary yonna tulina ogiyiwa tukole overhaul tuleete abalala nga balina mwensa oba bano abalimu tusooke tubazeeyo mu refresher courses bayige mulamuzi alina okukola ki kyalina okukola nga bamuwadde kifayiro ekijingirire ekijweteke alina okukikolera ki si bano abagenda okisoma n'oluusi tanakisoma agambe nedda essaawa zigenze omulamuzi ayise fayiro ssaawa 12 naye agamba olw'okuba obudde bugenze sijja kuwuliriza bail wabiraba wano nga turepresenting abaana ba matched parliament including ne bano ba politicians bano n'aba FDC n'aba NUP betuze nga tugenda mu kooti nti mugenda otuuka mu kooti ne muvaamu ssaawa emu omulamuzi yayise fayiro abayise abantu batekinge puli and you have a right to make a bail application at any stage of the proceeding. Naye n'agamba olw'okuba obudde bugenze sijja kuwuliriza bail bano kamba remanding a week says nti tasobola kukozesa buyinza bwe ng'omulamuzi abasinga leero ekirungi kati bakkirizaamu n'abannamawulire babeera babalaga era omulaba ng'ali wali asoma fayiro naye nga eriisa alitadde ku simu alina ka message kaalinda bamugambe remand or release nti that's how rotten, that's how our judiciary is at the trial on a daily basis.
Lastly, judiciary twaliko ne judge Kisaki yagezaako yimirira alaga amaanyi oba alage kale nti this is my farm ground
kuba ye omulamuzi kyalina okukola omulamuzi ng'atudde mu ntebe ye wali
yaddusa ali mu asylum exile
ng'agamba bagala kumutta because she came up to say what she was supposed to say as a judge. Because judge tolina kubeera nga nze nga ggwe Edgar judge olina obuyinza ng'otudde mu kooti yo oli mulamuzi kola ekisaanidde kola etteeka kyeligamba era kyobola babo balina ne immunity tibaba koze etteeka kyerimugamba tolina nagyogenda
mukwatako
naye abawano bonna batiitiizi abasinga bali awo bakadda abasinga babala mirimu gyabwe kusigalawo their careerists balinze kyekigenda mu maaso nziza bwe banteeka katebe byonna bye batya nti aleka kukola kyalina okukola n'adda mu ebyo just to please the appointing of authorities or to please the people in government even when they are not concerned about what is happening in your business in your court.
Thank you. 18 minutes past the top of the hour of 9 nkyali ne Counsel Kato Tumusiime tukyayogera ku nsonga ezigenda maaso mu ggwanga tugendako mu parliament. Counsel Kato watandise sheno nga parliament olinga atalina mawulire malungi gyeri but ngenda kubeera an advocate of the devil. Parliament ene eyisiza amateeka mangi kyekisooka. It's one parliament that you will say if it's passing legislations which is their main job bayisiza amateeka bugayise erigaana ebisiyaga anti erya UCD merging of bakoze ng'ovudde ku list bakoze eririwa Computer Misuse Act bakoze amateeka g'amaanyi. Anita Monk, can't you just commend her and the general leadership of the legislature or the legislature?
Olaba parliament erina obuyinza obukola amateeka naye amateeka gandibadde mateeka kikaaki nga galeeta enkulaakulana development of the country nga galeeta unity nga galeeta peace. Those are the key factors that must be considered in coming up with a legislation.
That a legislation has to bring peace,
Development and unity in the country.
Okay.
2, that the constitution is a grand norm is a grand norm. That's our superior law that we have in this country. And Article 2 is clear that the constitution is the supreme law of the land. That any other law, act or regulation that is inconsistent with any of the provisions in the constitution is null and void.
Yes.
Okay? That is the basic. Bano ba MP bogezako kususuta bibandi badde bateeka at the forefront nga tebanayisa nateeka naye bameka abakimanyi n'abakimanyi bakikoledde ki bakisirikidde nti kyobalaba almost on the laws that have been passed by this parliament are being challenged in the constitutional court. Because we feel that they are inconsistent with the constitution. They fell short of the first qualification of a good law, that it must be consistent with the provisions of the constitution. 3, that the law must be publicly accepted. But at the initial stages, when the motion is being tabled of a bill, people are coming out to say, no, this is not a good law, this is not what we need as a country. Privatization has been the biggest challenge of this parliament.
Okay, you're blanketing it, but let's look at one by one. Homosexuality, isn't that a problem in the country?
It depends on where you fall. Is it a problem to who? What makes you feel that in the problems we have as a country, as Uganda, homosexuality is number 1? When corruption is here on a daily basis, when you have poor infrastructures everywhere, when you have poor health,
we have laws governing
when you
corruption.
have poor schools everywhere,
but we have
the
laws.
education system. Why is it your problem? Why should you get involved in knowing what transpires in everyone's bedroom? Is it your business? One, do you know that homosexuality was tried under the penal code?
Yeah, it was there.
Even the constitution does not allow the same-sex marriages. Did we need any other law? Most of these people that are in that parliament that spearhead the formulation of these bills into acts are pleasers. They are person pleasers. They want to please somebody.
Lineteeka lyatuleetera ebizibu ne speaker yennyini agamba lyeriteeka limuleetedde ebizibu.
Alyekwasa bwekwasa because speaker bwe bamuwa sanctions mu US yekwasa eryeteeka naye yali tebolinga asumani basaalibwa honorable tebamuwa sanctions. You see, buli omu alina kanoonya just banoonya PR kwekwasa eteeka nti lyerituleetedde obuzibu ng'eggwanga kitegeera. And at the end of it all, when you look at the causes of those sanctions, zari corruption, kubba amabati g'abaana Karamoja, the Karachunas. That was the cause of the problem.
Webigambibwa ate kati etteeka waliwo netteeka erigaana ebiragalalagala okukozesa ebiragalalagala, drugs and things like that, planting and cultivating, licensing of people who are dealing in, medicinal marijuana generally. Eriteeka, it was called for.
Even if it was called for, even when it was not in place, even when it's in place, let me tell you, there is something that we tend to forget, that even when we have so many laws written, okay, they will not solve the problems. Rules themselves cannot solve the problems. And I've said this so many times. We have the Bible. Most of us are Christians. Most of us are born-again Christians and believers in God. As a country, if you look at our motto for God and my country, it means we trust and believe in God as our creator. God gave us 10 commandments. 10. They were not many. Just 10. Okay? Do not steal is among the commandments. How many people are stealing this country, including the heads of this state, including the head of the parliament, the number 1 chief? Do we need laws? I think consciousness is the best principle that should govern each and every one of us here. Consciousness. Webulire ng'omuntu gamba kino sina kikola. Olwokuba kigenda kukosa bannange abankulembedde. Saagala bakinkole nange sirina kukikola ki? Kukikola. Amateeka mangi nago tamanyi gwe Edgar gota bulianga nako. Okay? naye teeka livaayo nga balina gwe baagala okulikozesaako.
Exactly, yes.
Nti bano amateeka gano ge tulina agamanyikiddwa agandibadde gakozesebwa kukwata bano be tutwala ng'ababbi. Baliyo bagasirikidde. Corruption Act teri weeri. How many people have been charged under that act? Okujjako abatono. Abenyigira mu kubba amabaati g'Abakaramoja baali bangi list ya forum. Ne speaker nga mwali. Naye bajjamu Kitutu, bajjamu Nandutu, bajjamu Rugorobi. Ne muganda we. Sibe bajjamu boka. Abalala bonna including the finance minister. Kasaija naye yalimu nga yabamba. The speaker nga mwali. Vice president nga mwali. Nabanja nga mwali.
Baba wanga ko buwi.
Bagaba naye bonna si babbi bamabati. Do you know that it is an offense to be found in possession of stolen property? Esimu ya ali bwebula ne bagisanga mu nsawo yo. Okimanyi nti oba mubbi.
Oba yesanzemu etya.
Because it was clear that the iron seats that were meant to support the people of Karamoja were stolen. Okay, that's a stolen property. So if you are found in possession of a stolen property under the Penal Code Act, you must be charged. But the selection of the law here, nti barondamu sadaka dezasibirawa mukoti abalala baliyo beetala n'abamu baali beewaana mbu oli ye yagasanga mu compound ye. Some of these things, what I'm trying to mean is that amateeka ne bwe tuba tukoze amateeka genkana ki,
the problem is not
tegajja
the law.
kumalako kizibu.
Obuzibu si mateeka.
Obuzibu si mateeka. Amateeka ge tulina bagatadde mu nkola. Enkwasiza yaago. Baani abalina okugateeka mu nkola. Bo bakoze kye balina okukola. Nabo tebakikoze.
So katunde bano abakyagabaga. Kati Counsel gwe ng'ovudde, okay, corruption yeno mujogeddeko. Naye nze nga munnamawulire wemba ndiringa na evidence naawe munnamateeka odiringa na bwino kyemmanyi. Bwina alumika speaker mu mulina ng'oggyeko okugamba nti no ayambala dress purportedly za milioni 13 giftinze bawe
nkuwadde ekyokulabirako ekyokubba amabaati g'Ekaramoja. That's number 1. 2, speaker ya chairinga commission ya parliament. Si yavayo nebegabira service award. Teyalimu.
Simateeka tabawa maanyi ago.
Maanyi ki?
Abawa maanyi okusalawo.
If you make a resolution as a commission, you must table it before the parliament, the full house.
You see now, Counsel.
Never passing.
You are a lawyer.
Yes, and I'm telling
Tugende ku nsonga zino. It was constitutionally right. The parliamentary commission is allowed to decide on, the money that is given.
The management of the parliament.
Yes, which means remuneration of resources, allowances, okusaininga kwani agenda okufuna okutwalibwa bweru okufuna medication. It is them.
It is, yes.
They are allowed.
My issue is this. Ate njagala ofune bulungi kiri bwekiti. Nti semateeka ne baba bakkiriza. Naye waliwo emitendera egirina okugobererwa. Kitegeera. Nti amateeka gaffe galina kye bayita declaration of conflict of interest. You cannot be part of the distribution where you are a beneficiary, unless ngochi declare it. 2, the commission bwetuula, commission si efuga parliament yonna. The commission etuula nga akakiiko akakulemberamu enfuga ya parliament.
Exactly.
N'ebintu bwe birina okusaasaanyizibwa oba okugabibwa.
Bebaawo obuyinza okulaba engeri ebintu gye
naye bwe batuula bavaayo ne zituyita pointers. Oba ne bagamba tusazeewo nga commission tukole bwette emisala gya parliament tugyongeze.
Twewa
akasiimo.
Yes.
Tukole tubagulire zi iPad. Naye ebyo byonna babireeta ku floor of parliament. Nga parliament yonna etudde ne babyanjulira parliament. Parliament n'eryoke ekuba akalulu. Nagamba no, ekya iPad olw'okuba ffenna tugenda kufunamu tiki. Nti omusaala olw'okuba ffenna tukufunamu tiki. Naye kya service award gwe wakirabawo ku floor of parliament. Nobody. That's what caused the whole problem.
Is that I feel it's more of a moral question rather than
No, there is no morality. There is no morality here. We are talking about legally acceptable approaches.
Have you tried to go against?
Nze nali nkimanyiko, nali sikimanyi. olwokuba
Waliwo abagezezaako okuloopa.
ba MP abasinga be bava actually ne bakireta to the public domain naffe tukitegeereko nga bagamba okwewa akasiimo tetwandibadde na buzibu nakyo naye lwaki temwakireta from
Kooti
parliament
yakikkiriza.
ne tubasalirawo ate kooti gye nkugambye
Kooti?
same court before the same judges bakadazi between one a person who in their seat
Yeah, even if it were
No,
you
no,
counsel,
the
you would go to the
person
same
in their
courts.
seat.
You go to the same
you
courts.
go to the same court.
Exactly.
But
So
you
it's
see,
the courts that
you
that
see the
apply-
results of the courts are also determinant on who is sitting on which case. Ani yagula opo omusango mumanyi oli omulabyeko ng'omunamawulire mu kooti yagendayo. So this is some of the things
Just
that
for
we need to understand.
twafuna ruling.
These are some of the things that we need to understand. Ngewe nkugambye judiciary yaffe, a judicial officer sits in their seat, comfortable seat, both at the taxpayers' money, ne tumuwane allowance w'okutuula, n'amafuta, ne transport, na buli kimu, na reminding omuntu ayambadde bwerere nga bamulese mu kooti. And you expect somebody of that kind to deviate from his sentence. Ziri sente nyingi. The root of corruption has smeared everybody with the dirt, and it has not spared the judges and the judicial officers in this country. That's factual.
Kubanga in fact
Reports zaakavaayo neyagundi esembyeyo yakolaga the percentage of the corruption that we have in the judiciary. Ate olowooza judiciary bogerako yawa eya Kenya. That's a problem that we are talking about here. Nti omuntu asobola okusanctioninga n'akurimandinga on a Trump charge nga tekuli yadde doti ya kajuliza akakulumika asobola atya obutayisa ekyampunga
ndowooza abatulaba but they can see the magnitude of the problem of corruption.
That's what I am talking about. And
Because
most
now
of
this
us
is
are
very
also
deep.
involved in that corruption. That's the challenge we are facing. That's the challenge we are facing.
Wow.
Okay?
Wow.
So kati bw'obuuza evidence, that's evidence enough. Ne bwe mba sikwongedde endala. Kati teziweze bbiri. Kati
Ati ze mbadde njagala
tali mu
tugambe nga wagamba sise namujju bakusanga ne sente wasaba sente bweziti obwino obuna akulumika. In fact, speaking about Sise Namuju and those other parliamentarians, they're now out on bail. Wouldn't one want to agree with what the president was saying that some cases bail not so tujirwise obolusi tujijewo?
Unless we do an amendment in our constitution, but the constitution gives us a right.
They
Apply for bail.
People are fine, they're out.
And you see, when
Starting
you apply
even
for
from the
bail,
people of the
Edgar,
Mabati.
osaba bail, constitution etuwa amaanyi n'obuyinza obusaba bail. Okay? Naye okuwa oba okukuuma bail kiri ku mulamuzi awuliriza omusango kusinziira biki by'omunyonyodde biki by'olese ku mmeeza. Kati ekyo sikyagala kibuleminga ku muntu ki n'omu. Tukirekera omulamuzi olw'ensonga ze baasanga mu kusaba okweyimirirwa kwe baabawo. Basanga nga zisaanidde abantu okubata. N'ekirala, constitution egamba nti omuntu ali presumed innocent until proven guilty. We have had so many cases of people, including Nicholas Opio, ogwasembayo gwe baali bagamba simanyi bamusanga na bisawo bya dola ng'ayagala kuwamba government. Musango gwali mu court for about 9 months nga tebaleeta nga yadde kajulizi bwe kati. So should that person be on remand for all that? In fact, my suggestion and my idea would be nga tebanajja kukwata Kato okwenyigira mu kukola omusango munteekeko ku watch list yamu mugambe waliwo yazze n'aloopa Kato nti asuubirizibwa oba ateeberezebwa kubanga yazize omusango bwe guti. Put me on your watch list. Do your investigations. Finalize your investigations. Kuba sijja kudduka.
Funa obujulizi
Come and arrest me the following day n'abajulizi mujje nabo.
Ng'obujulizi bw'obulina.
That's what we call a speed and fair free trial. That's the ideal of the constitution. That's the provision of the constitution. That the trial must be speedy. Sijja kubeera mu court for 10 months nga temuleetangayo omujulizi. But I am incurring the cost and I am on remand maybe because you have denied me bail. No. Abakola ssemateeka waffe ebyo byonna baali babitadde mu nkola. And the ideal was nti the CID, the investigations department, must be prepared with capacity and potential effectiveness to deliver what they are supposed to deliver. And that the office of the DPP should also have helped the office of the CID to make it a formal process and do it timely.
Okay. Bana nchali ne Counsel
The
Kato
dispensation
Tumusiime.
of justice. Because justice delayed is also justice denied.
Exactly. Counsel Kato Tumusiime tuli mu dakika 3 zezakaita ku ssaawa 3 ez'okumakya. Tukyayogera ku bice bigenda mu maaso mu ggwanga. Counsel no tugenda mu 2025 ba MP to be wabalabye dda.
Basi
Bangi nnyo. And it's business as usual. We're going to enter the election cycle and enter parliament again.
Yeah.
So what can be done about improving the culture of how parliament does its work?
Now, this is everybody's role now to get involved. The John Abade Mchare Mpolisi Munake Nkulu. And I was at some place. Abamu ne bajja ne bagamba nange nesimbewo. Olwokuba
Counsel Kato. Owuliriza abantu.
Waddeyo kalanchi yawo. Just ng'ebyabuli. But obuuza omuntu kati gogenda kunsindikayo nga MP omanyi MP byalina okukola atamanyi obuuza mukalula kaggwa walonda ani namukubulira n'omubuuza lwaki wamulonda olaba bwe yajja wano eno esaati eno t-shirt eno gye nyambadde yagigula n'oluusi ng'eriko n'ekifaananyi kye bwolaba bwe yajja mukalulwa kaggwa yampayo 50,000 lwaki namulonda ate baleyo abalala saabalonda olw'okuba tebalina kye bampa nti mulimu gwange naawe Edgar okukozesa okumanya kwe tulina ntitubuulire abalala abatulaba n'abawuliriza nabo babuulire ku abalala bisaanyirizo ki byewandira byo mu MP nga tonamulonda tetwagala kujjuza parliament naye nga parliament eyo just ya kubeera kuzanya solitaire ku tabs mu parliament. No, they must be doing what they are supposed to be doing in that parliament. Legislation as the primary key. They must do accountability, they must do appropriation, and they must monitor and value each and everything that happens in this country.
So it starts by knowing what is their fundamental role.
What is their fundamental role and seeing who is capable of delivering. Si mulimu gwa MP kujje wamu akolere ekkubo erigende wamu tajja dikola. Si mulimu gwa MP kujje wamu azimbe kyaki si mulimu kwe. But because we fall short on teaching these people what the MPs are supposed to be doing, nabo bajja kulaba ani alina kyagenda otuwa.
Exactly.
Wajje waffe n'ategekera akapiira. Katonament n'agulayo obucupa bwa soda ng'abuubo ono yagenda okukola. That's where the challenge comes in. That we have failed to sensitize because guno mulimu gwandibadde gwa electoral commission. Naye emyaka gyonna gyemazeewo kuva ne 2021 nga tuvudde mu kalulu ka 2021 bali eyo. I don't know what they are using their budgets for.
Because they have that
in
budget
doing that sensitization and civic education to the masses on what they are supposed to be doing.
Eyo budget
mu 21st century tetwandibadde nga tuva ne mu kulonda n'owulira nga electoral commission egamba tulina invalid votes mbu waliwo yatikinze bubi. Ebyo byonna bandibadde babikavalinga mu civic education ne bayigiriza abantu balonda batya akalulu kakwata vote n'otikinga wano nti bisaanyirizo ki byewandira byo mu bubaka ng'ogenda okulonda nti bino gy'emirimu gye gyalina okukola nti omuntu agende kuva wuwe kugenda ku polling station ng'amanyi agenda kulonda ani ate agenda mulondera ki biki byagenda omukolera nti that one when we do that it will ease our work nti bwe tukulonda n'omalayo emyaka 2 tukubuuze omulimu gwa MP gino ne gino
otuuseewa accountability
issues but now we fail what to account because we don't know why you even sent these people in parliament or even in the local councils.
Ate bwakuwa 10,000 abakumazeeyo goba oweddeyo I bought your vote. You don't demand anything from
this sensitization should go deep in the villages even in towns n'abasinga tebabimanyi nti omubaka agenda kukola mulimu ki mu parliament. Oyo LC5 council agenda kukola ki ku council meeting nti bw'omala okutegeera omulimu gwe naawe ojja kuba vetinga bano abazze owulire ani ayogera ku biki ebibakwatako ku mirimu gyabwe gye basaanidde okukola nti ne bw'omulonda n'atuukayo mu myaka 2 muba mulina olukusa okutuuza baraza wano ne mumuyita ne mumugamba naye emirimu gyo giri ABCD guno omwaka gw'omaze mu parliament okozeewo ki okitegeera nti tusobole okusengejja bino ebicafu bino byeyita bihonaribe byetusengeri oleete bano abalina omulamwa era abamanyi biki byebasaanidde okukola
okubye ennyo eddakiika ziri 39 zizakaita ku ssaawa 3 obise the residue
ate tukole ki if you are feeling that parliament and you are not fulfilling any of the duties of a member of parliament, then what are you?
But even that number is too much. But Council, let's look at the alternative government, because all the conversations we've had are the government that is in power now. What's your comment on the people who are supposed to take power? And I want to say the opposition of this country, or those people who are ready for power already. How ready are they?
You see, most of them have become too comfortable. And most of these people come to parliament because they want positions, they want jobs, not for a cause. That's why batuka ne parliament asirika batandise okuvayo kati nga tuyingira mu kalulu akaddako. Ntikyobola banaabamu score card bwefuluma ey'omwaka osanga MP nga alina zero times zayogedde mu parliament.
Tewali kyayogedde.
Talina kyakoze. Ne mu committee sittings nga tomulaba. It's now good that media bagikkiriza ebeeramu netuweereza biki ebigenda mu maaso mu parliament. Okay? Nti noonoonya MP wo nga yadde kwogera yadde bavayo lumu yes nga kyekyo kye bakolako. Nti bava ku mulamwa ogwabaleeta abasinga gye bayita struggle. Olw'okuba naye kati afunye akasaala ka buli mwezi nga kansala nga MP nga meeya nga ki kati bino ebyammwe n'asooka n'abyerabira ebyamuleesa wano njagala okirabireko wano gankuwa ekyokulabirako ekirungi nti nga tugenda mu general elections tuba akalulu ka president n'aka MP bakakuba tulonda lunaku lumu nti bano ba MP abasinga baba batambula ne president waabwe message gye balina etambulira wamu okitegeera nti naye muva mu kalulu k'obwa president ne MP enkeera MP eyawangudde akalulu gwe balangiridde ku kyalo aba asala ntewwe aba akuba bidongo yeerabira nti akalulu ka president tebannakalangirira ate bonna bajja wamu nti kyobulaba ne president atuuka avaayo abasinga n'akugamba akalulu kange bakabbye n'omubuuza ki ekiraga nti bakabbye ne DR forms taziina ne ku polling station yewe yalondedde nga nazo kuba yabadde alina obudde obuzikuŋŋaanya n'amaanyi ali eri waka ali mu kujaganya agamba nze akange nkawangudde buli omu akola ebibye
abanange emicomo batandika ogiyisa.
That's where the problem starts from. From that day one, everybody is looking at their personal gain and selfish interest. Nti ekyange kiwedde kati naawe girolindako ekito. It's not. And when somebody becomes too comfortable on being called and referred to as an honorable member of parliament and seeing his monthly salary and allowances go on, then that's why you find a lot of struggles between the political party leaders and then the people they send to different positions. That they forgot what the plan was and now they are doing whatever business they want to. That's why most of them want to double side with the ruling regime, and a lot of challenges start from there. That the purpose for our uniting under a political party, the goals of a political party, the ambitions, the aims and objectives of a political party, the political party manifesto that we brought the people and sold to the people so that you could be able to win and become a member of parliament has been buried down. And now we are looking at how do I come back in this parliament. That's where the whole challenge comes.
So that means with such a background, it's going to be difficult to change government or to take power for them.
It's going to be difficult at some point.
Because they don't want power. It feels like they have the power already.
Unless we also do what I've said, that what the Electoral Commission should be doing. Before these political parties bring the people to be their flag bearers, they should also take them maybe to leadership and training schools. For example, Teach them the ideologies of a political party, your political party. Teach them what you are supposed to be doing as a member of parliament, because some of them go there when they don't know what they are supposed to be doing in that parliament, or in their different position that they represent. Most of the people were criticizing a certain political party here of bringing MPs that did not know what they are supposed to be doing. Have these political parties gone back to check and see, but Edgar, yewaira kadi yafe byalina okukola ng'omubaka wa parliament abimanyi oba tulina omuyigiriza biki bye tumusuubiramu ng'omubaka wa parliament byalina okukola nti tubasomese tubateeketeeke tugende kutuuka mu kalulu nga tetujja kuddamu kwekwasa nti twasindikayo omuntu naye nga talina kyakoze olwokuba tebabimanyi because the political parties should not only come and arise in the period of elections. No, you should prepare your people.
That's why I'm going to ask,
feed us your best quality.
Are political parties relevant in such a dispensation where you say with such corruption, with such inequality, with a government that has been in power for over 40 years, do you think people still look at ideals of this is your ideology, ideology in such a generation and such a dispensation now? Can that be a now solution?
When people become too comfortable, they forget the problems that maybe they came to solve. That's a challenge. That even a political party leaves what it's supposed to be doing. Never da mukugavana no kurwanira kasente. Kanya kaba kavudde mu whichever place or iPod or electoral commission because of the numerical strength that you have in parliament. Abasinga bajja badda mu kurwanira kasente ako. And they forgot the purpose of the creation of a political party. Most of them actually use it to gain numbers and so that they can also be beneficiaries in the regime and get the money that is shared among the political parties with representation in parliament. But the ideal or what should be done, beyond that. Nti mulina okwenyigiramu namwe mu kusomesa abantu mu bunyenjiri yammwe ng'ekibiina mubabuulire bino bye tusuubira okukola ng'ekibiina tutuuse wano account to the people. So you show
tuwulira bali mu kunoonya ssente za ticket. But there is an idea by Geno Bigirwa, one self-proclaimed Geno from Busoga. Aleesewo idea ng'alowooza ku regional empowerment. Nti we twogerera kati there is an equity y'engeri obuyinza gye bugabanyizibwamu mu ggwanga eno eri unequitable ng'agamba lwaki abantu tebaddayo mu regions zaabwe ne beempawaringa regions zaabwe okwadvocating for the national cake. What do you think about that?
That's a good idea. That's a good idea. But now, who is supposed to do that distribution here? Olwokuba nyagala okirabirewo wano nti all these appointments President Zakola in appointing the ministers and the RDCs and the rest depend on how you supported his cause or his coming into power in the next regime. Nti mmwe bwe muba temwamulonda ekimala naye ajja kuddiza abaamuwa. That's where the challenge comes in. But if the appointments, for example, of the ministers was done at a table like this, a setup like this, that each region has a representative and then they have to share equally, then it would be the best that we do.
Anti ekyo kyaleeta
kyagamba
nti kituuse tugambe Eastern Uganda, it is a must before you even enter the election. Ofuna kino na kino na kino. Western Uganda kino na kino.
Which is a very good idea, but the constitution gives the president power to make any appointment as he deems.
But doesn't this bring back the tribalistic and sectarian sentiments that Mr. Museveni likes to talk about?
But of course he will make it justifiable. And because most of the people that are appointed in those offices and institutions are beneficiaries, now they will hide the rest of the sectarianism and the tribal cards that are being played.
Okay. Yeah. So it's okay. Can tugende ku Kyagulanyi as a person? He has said, I think yesterday, he's coming back in 2025, 2026. Agenda kwesimbawo. Kyagulanyi ono mubweka kibobu omuwanga omuntu. ate ng'omulabye evolution gyavudde yonna. You're even personally acquainted to him according to my knowledge. What do you think about Kyagulanyi?
Well,
2026.
2026, I think it will be a little bit disorganized compared to 2021. 2021 was not a good signature of a country that believes in democracy. You saw the killings in the November 18th here in Kampala town. You saw how presidential candidates were being treated, including the one that had to do the campaign trail barefooted, including the ones that were using rituals, local herbs, smearing themselves to guard themselves against the bullets that were all over everywhere.
Yes.
2026 will be a little bit, I think, more tactical, more bloody compared to 2021.
Why does it?
That's how I am looking at it, because we're following social media. No mukuru CDF we go the first son, and what he has said, what he's still saying. Then it should open your mind and look ahead. This is beyond the tweets. This is where he also said that, I think, related to guns, that words are many and what.
They told him that he has a lot of guns. He said they told him he has a lot of words, and he says words are better than guns.
Guns, and we are in charge of the guns. So this one should also tell you this. But coming back to what you said, bakachibwempa mukulembeze wa National Unity Platform buli bumu nti yenyigira mu kalulu ka 2021 nga presidential candidate byayitamu bingi, and to me kyendaba kiri nti bw'oyita mu kintu you have an experience, an extra added experience that you have to sit down, reflect and create solutions and situations that would help you not go back into the same.
Yeah.
Okay?
Byayitamu
bingi.
Wabiraba.
Kati, my idea and my advice to him is that he should sit down on a drawing board and reflect and know, if I met this challenge, have I come up with a mitigating factor? And if he has no mitigating factors, then he should ignore even standing up for president. Unless he has figured it out and he has mitigating factors and he knows that he has made a risk assessment and he has what it takes to show all those risks, or to minimize them.
Your opinion,
but if he has not, then he should not even waste his time to come into an election.
Do you think he has?
That will be too disorganized.
Do you think he has?
That one is
mitigated. No, according to you, to what you have seen, do you think he has learned something from the past?
I believe. No person goes into an action, no person goes into a situation and fails to run.
How does this divisionism play out for his case? The divisionism, meaning the side of Mpuga and his colleagues, and then Kyagulanyi. That feud.
Of course, it has an effect. It has an effect on the numbers. Politics is a game of numbers. And you see, whether you believe in somebody's approach or not, sometimes we need them because they add up us on the numbers. And if we really need to win an election, then we should be looking at the numbers. The disagreements happen, but also how you resolve those disagreements also matter. Because I am sure tulina abantu abakiririza mu Honorable Kyagulanyi nga tebakiririza mu Mpuuga byakola.
Yes.
Ate tulina abakiririza mu Mpuuga byakola naye nga tebakiririza mu approach Kyagulanyi yakozesa okumugoba oba byonna byakola.
Wagira be Masaka.
Yes, that's what I am talking about. Nti you should sit down and actually plan ahead of your actions. Bwenkola kino kinavaamu ki? How best can I approach this problem that I am facing as an individual? That's what leadership takes.
Because you need those numbers, and those are your numbers.
You need numbers, and you must also prepare your masses and show them, a different character of who you are challenging. If President Museveni disagrees with Kayihura, the next day he fires him from being the IGP, for example. The other day he's paraded in the court-martial, and you're also copying the same, because this is like copy and paste. You disagree with the Puga, the next day you will dismiss him as a deputy president in the other day you will now be calling him to apologize. It means if you also had the power as President Museveni, Mpuga would have been.
No, you
the court
people have
martial.
always said that President Museveni deals with thieves. That even IGG said that Gonja, every time I'm looking for the people I want to get, they are
hiding.
behind you.
Yes.
And you have always said Museveni has been hiding his villains. And Kyagulanyi has been the total opposite. He said, even if you are my second in command, I can put the gun to you. So can we say Kyagulanyi is being a better version, sir?
No, it's not a better version because they approached it first. You see, Edgar, how a leader approaches a problem shouldn't be like how a layman approaches a problem. Like I said, we needed a different approach on how to handle Mpuga's issue.
To tell him to apologize is
Okay.
bad?
Apologize, but now you see how you handle issues in this public also determine the next action of a leader. These are all two leaders. And remember, Mpuga is a former leader of opposition in that house under the NUP platform. How do you tell him to come before the foot soldiers and apologize for what he did? I think diplomacy would have commanded that these people would have sat in a better organized setup, for example, for the topmost leadership of the NUP, call this man to order, and I believe Mpuga would have accepted that approach, but not to call him on a media briefing and say apologize to the public. No, that was a different approach, and it lacked the diplomatic sense.
Musajja mukulu.
It lacked the diplomatic
Musajja
sense.
mukulu
at
ino
that
mukwata mpola
Yes.
mpola, eh?
It's like you know, we grew up with parents and we know that at some point they also make mistakes. But have they come up in the open and apologized to you as a
You
child?
cannot tell him, come on,
Come on, apologize to me, no.
Lastly, there is a Democratic Alliance. Do you see it playing out in any way? Are they going to affect the political turmoil of this country in any way?
No, this alliance is just of self-seekers. Now look at the formation of the alliance itself. It's just their busybodies and playing out to also get recognition from the rest of the public. Naite vaina chamanchi wagenda gatam politics zawa. Tiwali.
They're just
Buli omwana onya kike gwe banajjayo bamugjeyo gwe banajjamu bamuggyemu naye abalala bonna bali mu kunoonya byabwe. They are looking at how they can also still survive and be at the political scene the next day.
Counsel, thank you so much for joining us. It was a privilege having you and closing our year.
Thank you so much,
It's
Edgar.
really, really honorable. Give us your parting shot.
Yes, as we close the year, I want to call upon Ugandans to be vigilant. You know, too much excitement also may not be good for us as a country. We plan for the better. Next year, we have so many activities coming up, but be prepared to also face and approach them in a wise manner. Be lawful citizens, mgoberera amateeka kye bakugamba obutakola oba tokkanya nakyo, get the better ways of how you disagree with them. But I want to wish you the very best of 2025 as the struggle continues. Come join us as we fight corruption in this country. We fight for the good governance, we fight for the rule of law, and we fight for the better Uganda that we believe should be equal and treating us in the same manner, at the same lane, and that it should be better for our children and grandchildren. May God bless you all.
Great, great, great. Thank you so much. People like Counsel Kato remind us that this country found it here. So that means we're going to live it. And how we live it is what will affect the generations to come that he's talking about. So make sure you leave Uganda a better place than you found it. My name is Edgar Mathew Karuhanga. Before I leave, I have to celebrate two special people. It's their birthday today. How special you are to be born on the last day of the year. I'll start with Emmanuel Nabongo. A happy, happy birthday from the entire Digitalk team, but specifically from your mother. She also sent us a message, Miss Caroline. She says, happy, happy birthday, Emmanuel Nabongo. May you grow to be a great man and, of course, make Uganda a better place. Then lastly, but definitely not least, is Kiza Saison. Kiza Saison, happy, happy birthday to you. Kiza Saison, you are an ardent viewer of Digitalk TV. Thank you so much for always tuning in. We wish you the best of life, really. And of course, may you celebrate this new eon in a better manner. May you just get whatever you've always wanted to get in your life. So Kiza Saison and Emmanuel Nabongo, a happy, happy birthday from Digitalk TV. My name is Edgar Mathew Karuhanga. I'll see you in the next year. But of course, we are preparing a lot for you as Digitalk TV, so stay tuned. Next year is going to be insightful, eventful, and we are here, and of course we commit to cover all those stories and give you factual information so that at the end of the day you have knowledge, and this knowledge comes with understanding, and I believe with that you have what they call wisdom. From the entire team, may God bless you. Happy New Year. See you in the new year. My name is Edgar Mathew Karuhanga. Good morning.
The Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.